Good day, everyone. So, this is the unit 2, the unpacking the self. So, in lesson 9, it will discuss the physical self and the sexual self. In physical self, there are two factors, the biological factor and the environmental factor. And also, it will discuss the issues about physical health, hygiene, nutrition, standards of beauty, and other socio-cultural factors will also be discussed. So the first factor is the biological blueprint. Biological blueprint, it includes the genes, the DNA, the chromosomes, and the heredity. So we all know that DNA is the blueprint of life, and it embedded a genetic information or a genetic instruction for the structure that it will be making. So we can give an example in a construction site. So the engineers or the architect will be making a blueprint of a building, and that blueprint will be distributed to the workers in order for them to know what they will be making and for what structure will be making. So it's just like our DNA. Our DNA has a genetic instruction for them to know what work will be done or what structure will be made. So next is the heredity. So heredity is the transformation of traits from parents to offspring. It is the biological and chemical process contribute to our physical features or to our physical appearance and development. So have you noticed that some of your physical features or characteristics is came from your father or came from your mother? So we will give an example. So like for example, you possess or you obtain a black hair color, and your mother has a black hair color and your father has a blonde hair color. So if you have a black hair color, it doesn't mean that you didn't have a blonde hair color in your genes. It's just like the role of a dominant and the recessive. So the dominant is the black hair and the recessive is the blonde hair because it did not appear in your appearance as the color of your hair, and the black hair is more dominant than the blonde hair, so that the black hair appear in your physical feature, or the color of your hair is black. So just like in your eyes, your nose, and your skin color, if some if some features or characteristics you get from your mother, it doesn't mean that you did not possess or you did not get any features or characteristics from your father. So it can or you possess that kind of appearance or features or characteristics, but it is observable also only under the microscope, or it can be determined through the blood test, and that is what we call the genotype. So as what I said earlier, the genotype is determined through blood testing and specific information embedded within our genes. So this type of gene is did not appear in our physical appearance, or but it is embedded within our genes or within our DNA. So next is the phenotype. So it can be directly observed. So the phenotype is like the genes that appear in our appearance or in our features or in our characteristics. Just like for example, your hair color, your skin color, your some of your characteristics and traits. So that is what we call the phenotype, or the it can be directly observed. So next is genes. So genes is the basic carrier of hereditary traits. It can be classified into dominant and recessive. So as what I said earlier, dominant is the strong genes while the recessive is the weak genes. So that is the reason why, or if you have a black hair color, it means that your black hair color is dominant, while the color of your hair that did not appear is the recessive one. So like for example, your mother has a black hair color and your father has a blonde hair color, and your mother has a dominant black hair color and your father has a recessive blonde hair color. So it means that the black hair color will appear in your appearance or in your or in your features as the hair, as the color of your hair. So but it doesn't mean that the blonde hair color is did not possess in your genes or in your DNA. You have a blonde hair color but in your genes. So that is the reason why it is called the weak genes, because it did not appear in our physical appearance or in our physical feature. So every person has two copies of each genes inherit from each parent. So next is the chromosomes. So each individual carries 23 pairs of chromosomes. So 23 from your father and 23 from your mother. So the 22 pairs of chromosomes are called the autosomes or the trait chromosomes. So this is the reason why we are unique, because we have a different matches of traits or characteristics from both of our parents. So we are unique, or we have a unique characteristic or traits or features, because it is randomly matched to other characteristics or other traits to form or to be observed in a individual. So the last pair of chromosomes, or in the 23rd pair of chromosomes, it is called the gonosomes or the sex chromosomes or the X and Y chromosomes. So the X chromosomes is the male and the Y chromosomes is the female. So these chromosomes will identify the gender of the individual if it is a male or a female. So next is the DNA or the deoxyribonucleic acid. So there is no two individuals have the same DNA. So just like for example in a crime situation or in a crime scene, if the investigators having hard time in finding the suspect, then they will choose the DNA, or they will collect the DNA that get from the crime scene. And if this DNA will will be will be matched in your DNA, then you will be subjected as a suspect, because DNA has a crucial genetic information that that is the reason also that we have a different DNA and we are all unique because of this kind of DNA. So the reason that we have the different DNA, then we have also a different blueprint. And because we have a different blueprint, then we have a different structure or the physical structure. So these cellular components, the DNA, the chromosomes, the genes, the heredity, are the reason for the maturation and the physical growth of an individual. So we will discuss the maturation. So what is maturation? Maturation is an completion of genetic character within an organism, or the unfolding of individuals' inherent traits or potential. So this is the ability of an individual from birth. So for example, the first walk, the first run, the first talk, the first understanding. This kind of ability is the maturation or the growth of our structure or some cellular components. So if we if we obtain the maturation, then this is the stage where we can do whatever we want independently. So just like for example, we can walk as our own, we can run whatever it far, we can think, we can analyze, we can understand things. So in that thing, we can think that the our structure or our journey is very complex. It is not like we are molded, but we are structured we are built by our DNA. And this DNA is the reason for our structure. So this DNA has the genetic information or the genetic instruction for the different cells in order to achieve the fully structured individual. So maturation is like we understand things, we understand our environment, we understand um who we are, we understand if what people will be, or if what people will think of us as a individual or as a structure that we have. So if they like our physical features, or if they like our physical appearance, if they like our traits, if they like our characteristics, then some of us will change just because um other people did not accept who we are. So that is the reason that we have we have to accept if whatever we want or whatever we have to accept if what hair color we have to accept what is our skin color, because these small things, or these small things that appear in our features, is the work of our DNA. But we have our own freedom. We can do whatever we want because we are matured. We can think, we can analyze things, and also we can decide by our own self. And it depends on us if what journey or what path did we take as we continue our life. So this is my report. Thank you.
The physical self, environmental conditioning. While our genetic information determines the degree of our physical traits, it isn't the only element. As we grow older, we are subjected to a variety of external factors that affect our physical selves, such as those imposed by our social networks, societal expectations, and cultural norms. Our earliest social group is our family, an important part of our development, including our physical self. Apart from genetic considerations, our family is mostly responsible for how we care for our body. We get our nutrition and sustenance from what was cooked in the house at first. Next, the physical self achieving physical well being. There's nothing wrong with enhancing our physical self. What is problematic is when we focus too much on physical beauty and disregard everything else. How do we take care of ourselves and our body? Here are just some tips. First, healthy eating. We need to have the right combination of food to ensure our health and sustenance. Having the right diet will result in healthy skin, ideal weight, and better stamina. Second, embracing a healthy lifestyle. Avoid drinking, smoking, and other unhealthy habits would reduce the risk of illness and diseases and making your immune system stronger. Physical activities such as walking, running, going to the gym, and sports would also contribute to a healthier body. Third, having the right hygiene. Taking care of our body by maintaining a hygiene regimen can also help in making us feel good about ourselves. Fourth and last, confidence in ourselves is our best makeup. Being secure in ourselves, embracing a positive outlook towards various situations and problems, and loving and accepting who we are will surely result in an optimal physical well being.